And hey, everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. Georgia and Touliatos, brought to you by his book, The Bible of Bodybuilding 2, over 700 pages with everything you need to know about training, nutrition, supplementation, PEDs, all that great stuff. It's on Amazon.com. You can also get my book, Real Bodybuilding. And this is the only show, guys, on YouTube every week where you have access to a medical doctor who is also a champion bodybuilder. Please welcome, from Athens, Greece, Dr. George Touliatos. Hey, George.
Hi, Ron. Today was the Christian Orthodox Easter, so
okay.
we celebrate Easter, in Greece and other countries like Serbia, Russia, Egypt. Anyway, and glad to be back on StreamYard. Much better than LinkedIn.
Well, you're not flickering anymore. Surprised people didn't give us any crap about that. Yeah, StreamYard's awesome because you consult, guys. You can if you go to Dr. Touliatos' Instagram, he is available for consultations all over the world. He talks to athletes and regular guys who want to be strong, fit, and healthy from all around the world. So this technology thing we have is great. You told me you just did a consultation with someone in Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah, last week about PDs, and actually it's crystal clear. It's much sharper than the StreamYard.
Yeah, StreamYard's awesome. Anyway, so let's get into the questions. With StreamYard, I can actually put them up in real time. Yeah. So this was our first question. This came from a woman. I'd like to know which version of Deca Durabolin is better to build muscle, the regular one or NPP? That would be nandrolone phenylpropionate, the faster acting version. Considering that I'm a woman trying to avoid virilization as much as possible. So I guess, doctor, let's look at it first. Forget that she's a woman. Is one of those better for gains, the longer-acting decanoate or NPP?
So listen, when we ask which type of testosterone is the most anabolic, we refer to the suspension because there is no ester that's going to retain the substance. The same goes for trembolone. The acetate is supposed to be more anabolic just because it liberates 90% of the substance rather than 70% of the enanthate. I think the same goes with the NPP. If it's more anabolic, it should be because it releases 80% of the substance rather than the 60% of the decanoate, which is lower than cypionate. But on the flip side of the coin, the slow ester has the benefits to the joints because it clears the system slower, and then this aldosterone kick that retains fluid into the joints holds for a more period of time,
So do you get none of that joint benefit with the synovial fluid with NPP?
Discussed this numerous times before. I think you don't get the benefit, but it clears the system faster. It doesn't aromatize that much.
Yeah. And
also supposed to be more anabolic because 80% of the compound is liberated rather than 60% of the decanoate, which is the slowest ester, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, it's detectable in, I think people have been
18 months for
that's crazy. You could be drug tested a year and a half from now, possibly, after you stop taking Deca and test positive for metabolites. Wow. But the upside, a lot of guys would like Deca, the longer acting, because you only need to inject it really once a week because it's so long acting.
Exactly, yes.
NPP is every other day. Do you have to do it that often?
Yes, 3 times a week.
I mean, I don't care about that, but some people don't like to stick needles in themselves. So here's something you've answered many times. And of course, if you get the book Bible of Bodybuilding 2, there's all kinds of cycle information in there. But can you recommend, well, not recommend, but what would be a safer or mild stack for a growth phase? Because obviously you've talked about the optimal stack for growth phase. It's not safe at all. It's very toxic. But if someone's more health conscious, what could they possibly do?
Well, testing Deca. Yeah. Now, if you go some Dianable, like Dan Chain said, if you don't grow in this, you're not going to grow in anything.
That's true. I consider them peanut butter and jelly, the peanut butter and jelly of steroids. And I've known guys who didn't grow on that, and they had terrible genetics, and they just kept adding more stuff and upping the doses, and they just got worse side effects. So not everybody's meant to be a bodybuilder, guys, unfortunately. Next question is something you go over almost every week as well. PCT, post-cycle therapy. There are many different protocols. If someone has access to anything and anything, HCG, clomiphen, tamoxifen, tribulus, what would be the most effective PC to restart the production?
I've said before that the PCT is not just a magic bullet that works instantly. Okay, you need time, and time means stay off from steroids in order your HPTA to kick. And you need time for this to recover. So it's the basic stimulus, HG and the SERMs, and then our tribulus, maca, aspartic acid, fenugreek, tongali. These are candies related to the medications, okay? So, yeah, you can assist with some supplements. Also, vitamin D3 is very important, zinc, boron that liberates more free testosterone.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you don't need massive dose of HG, you don't need massive dose of SERMs. Just moderate doses and just give a stimulus and then wait for time to heal. So don't think about the super PCT or the magic PCT or high doses. No, you need the proper stimulus. And to me, it works. But okay, you can double your testosterone within 1 month, perhaps, if it's just below mid-range. But if somebody has suppressed with steroids, it needs time. It needs time to unblock your receptors in the brain, the androgen receptors, and for your balls to restart. It will be much easier for you if you use HCG meanwhile into the cycle also,
Okay.
to avoid your testicles to go to sleep. All right. And of course, leaving 11 to 7, because if you go insomniac or if you booze, these are negative stimulus to recover.
So, doctor, if you didn't do PCT at all, would your production come back? It would just take longer, or would it not come back?
I don't think he's gonna come back. We both know a Greek FB Pro. Personally, I know him since he was 18, 19, and frankly, he was dedicated and he was determined never come off because he wanted to become a pro one day. And he told me he never followed PCT. He just cruised with testosterone. Of course, he didn't want to make a family and sacrifice this.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that after even on and off, the off to be 1 month, okay, because you cannot stay and maintain your gains and be normally in your head coming off for 6 months, let's say.
Yeah.
All right. You're not going to be any bulk. You're not going to be a bodybuilder. You're going to be a miserable human being without testosterone for 6 months. You're going to lose all your gains. You're going to use all your sex drive. You're going to be depressed. All right. It's a miserable life.
Yeah.
So I believe on and off for a couple of times after some years, you're toasted. No, you cannot recover. I've seen that.
Yeah. I mean, I've noticed because I used to, when I started, I was 27. So from 27 to, I'd say 40, I never did PCT. I was just too lazy. I just couldn't be bothered to get those extra drugs and everything. I would just wait until my production came back.
When did you have children? When did you have your children?
When I did what?
You have your family before bodybuilding?
Oh, yeah. So I was, my daughter, I was 24 years old when we had her, and I was just turned 30 when I had my son. So I was natural when I had my daughter. I was on gear when I had my son.
Were you using HG?
No. I hate to tell people how stupid I am. I had one bottle of HCG one time, and I mixed it up and I shot the whole bottle at once, the whole thing.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
it was stupid. I didn't know. Yeah. So technically, I guess I did use HCG that one time, but completely in the wrong way. But the point is I did get my production back the first few years, and then eventually it just never came back.
Yeah, you become toasted after.
Yeah, and that's when I had to go see Dr. Morgenthaler, and I've been on testosterone ever since. I never went off. So, all right, we got one final question. This is a dietary question. I don't know how many people over in Europe have celiac. Seems like a big deal over here. A lot of people have either colitis or some. My son has colitis. So this person is asking, is it possible to cure, this is an autoimmune disease called celiac disease, with the use of Thymosin Alpha-1, or would peptide BPC 157 be better?
Surprisingly, is that some patients of mine that ask me to prescribe them some compounding BPC 157 that's supposed to be for joints for their gut. And they search it and they say it works. It's promising. Now, Thymosin Alpha-1, it's a peptide that stimulates the thymus gland over here. I think it's above the thyroid, that it produces the T and the beta cells of the thymus. It's responsible for the immunity. And this is the magic bullet never to get sick.
Hmm.
Dr. Hertog in Belgium said he was injecting Thymosin Alpha and he was jumping into the pool in the winter and he never caught a cold.
What?
Crazy. And now this compounding pharmacy that I'm working with produces some thymosin, but it's spray, okay? But yeah, I've heard rumors that BPC 157 helps with the gut. Now, the celiac disease, you should avoid eating gluten, okay? Spaghetti, pasta, and bread. So everything comes from wheat, all right? Even oatmeal, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. It said, I looked it up real quick. There is no cure for celiac, and that's, I guess, why he put it in quotations. There is no cure for celiac, but the gluten-free diet has helped a lot of people manage the symptoms.
Yeah, because wheat bloats the gut, okay? And when you eat gluten, you get bloated. Now, Gaspar said that if you avoid carbs with gluten like pasta and bread, and you substitute with rice and potatoes, you get leaner. You don't get that bloated into your gut that reflects on the stomach that protrudes, okay?
Yeah. It's Rich Gaspari. We both know Rich. He was my early idol. And I remember I had a tape of the 1987 Mr. Olympia contest. It was on TV in 1987 from Gothenburg, Sweden. And they had a little profile. They showed Rich at home talking about his diet. In 1987, he was talking about how he doesn't eat any gluten when he's dieting for a contest. This was 20, 30 years before everyone was gluten-free. He was way ahead of his time. Very smart guy. Yeah, the Dragon Slayer. Anyway, well, that is all our questions we have this week. I want one last thing about BPC 157. I think it does have potential, but correct me if I'm wrong. I couldn't find any evidence that there's been any human trials. It's only been with mice.
No, because the orthopedics and the FDA, of course, has not approved it for human use.
That's why. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, it's a lot of people use it, but like I said, there's anecdotal evidence where people say, yeah, it's definitely helped me in this way, but there's no actual studies that show it's been effective. So I guess if you have the money and want to try it, can't hurt, right? As far as we know. Anyway,
well, we prescribe stuff for U.S. patients, and they come overseas, with a prescription. And if you want me, I can send you a bottle.
No, I used it for 6 months, and I honestly can't say, I don't know if it did anything. Because, when I tore my quad, everyone said, you got to get TB 500, you got to get BPC 157.
For Mr. Miller?
What's that? No, I got it from like a peptide sciences website or something.
Because you have this contract with this Texas.
Andre, Frontline Alternative. I think they have it too. Yeah, maybe I'll start. Maybe I'll try it again. I can't say it did anything bad to me, but I don't know if it did anything good.
Help you, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I take so many supplements and I eat healthy and everything, so who knows? Stop smoking, all that good stuff. Anyway, it is very late at night, Doctor. I appreciate you doing this so late at night on a Sunday over in Athens, Greece. Guys, support the show, support the doctor with this book. Give yourself an education. You'll know so many answers to these questions if you just read this book. Everything you need to know it's all summarized in there. Bible of Bodybuilding 2 on Amazon.com. We're very, very fortunate every week to have Dr. Touliatos here to answer your questions. Again, your doctor that you see every year for your checkup does not know the answers to these. And don't trust the gym bros at your gym, the meatheads, to answer scientific health-based questions. Not a good idea. Dr. T is here, and for that, we thank you. All right. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Ask Dr. Testosterone with George and Touliatos, and we will see you next time.